So this is the road that we're on. Neighbor's house. Well, neighbor's truck. This was an old neighbor's dog. This was an old taxidermy shop. None of this stuff is it doesn't matter to us because we're gonna drive way back here for our property. Okay, so right about here, you can see there's a little empty camper back there. We actually told them they can leave that here because we're like, we'll use it. We'll turn it into something, chicken coop or I don't know, whatever. Doesn't matter. But so right here where you just saw me come all the way down there, it's all dirt, it's all muddy, it's all been just used by a tractor only. So we obviously have to pave that, which is gonna be that's gonna be like one of our first projects. And then we're gonna stop right here because if we kept going down this road, we would come to that fence that we first crossed in, but that's not where we're going to be entering our property from. We're actually going to stop where I'm stopped right now. I'm going to turn around and show it to you here. We're going to have to clear some trees. Don't worry, we're going to use all of it, of course, but we are going to have to clear some trees and we're going to build another kind of we're going to have to pave or use rocks, you know, a way down here. So it's going to slope down a little bit and then we're going to have to we're going to put a culvert in and have like a little bridge that goes across the creek. So I'm going to show you right here. It kind of slopes down more than we wanted it to, but it is gonna go down that way. And then once it goes down that way, you can't see it from here because it's just brush, but somewhere down there is where that little creek is. And then we'll build a little bridge over the creek and then that's how we'll access the property. So here's the driveway kind of sort of thing. And this is where you enter right now. So this is not gonna be our main entry point once we get the property and we fix it up the way we want it. But right now, this is how they act. So here's where it opens up. Nice and wide.
See it? Ooh, you want to fall down there.
This is where we just came in through, and then this is another little gate on the side of that. So we crossed right here. You could have crossed in through here, but all this going up and on the slope is also our land. So this is a spot we were thinking we may plant hemp for to harvest the stalks of the hemp to grow it or to build with to make hempcrete, or grain for animals, or grass to turn into hay, something like that. We could use this whole area up here for. It's a lot of space. So I just crossed the creek so I can actually show you guys more, and then it actually opens up even back here. It's all fenced right now, but it opens back over here, and this all is divided by a creek, so you can't cross anywhere because you got this beautiful creek right here. Say hi, guys.
Hi. Hi.
So this runs down the whole property. Curves, twists. Oh, look, you guys, there's a little bridge right here. It's gonna break right in the middle.
Yep.
Mom? Wow, you made it. I didn't.
That's going to be kind of the entryway. We'll have to do a little culvert and some rock there.
I think she's saying I can do with the little human right now.
Okay, so there was the entrance. That's about 10 acres of pasture on that side. So the idea, we're probably going to do an orchard or something up on the top side, and then that section will be for the animals. If you look, there's a blue feed bucket to the right of that. There's 2 trees. That'll be our entrance. And then we're planning on putting some kind of shop or garage right there. And then our little entryway to the house, because this is going to be our living section. Where the cows are at right now is going to be, that whole thing's going to be garden. And the reason we're doing the garden there is because the pond's right above it. And we'll be able to gravity feed our irrigation from the pond down into the garden. So that's why, and that's a nice just area. The way we get up to the house, because the house is going to be in the back corner, back there, up that hill. So we'll have to make a drive or something up here to get to the house. So it's going to be quite a trek. The area is nice. It's just partially cleared, so it's going to have a lot of nice shade trees and everything. And then the reason we decided to put our house up on that little hill is because it overlooks the pond and the creek and the pasture. It just overlooks everything. So we like the most inconvenient place on the whole property for our house.
So you guys can see the slopiness, right? So there's different levels. There's where the creek was, and then it slopes up a little bit here. This is where the pond is, right where the girls are. I'll show you that in a second. And then it slopes up even more over there. That's where the house is gonna go on the highest part of the property. So it kind of goes up a little bit more, and then it kind of rolls down, and then it goes up a little bit down,
We're on a huge mid-level.
rolls down again over here.
The bank is broke out, which is good and bad. Right now it's, well, actually it's mostly good for us because what we're gonna be able to do, you can kind of see where the pond came up to before. So we're gonna actually be able to plant our pond plants and stuff around the perimeter to clean the pond, to keep the pond healthy. Anyway, so there's our pipe that's gonna go to the garden there, and once we fill that bank back in, then this whole area should, we want this area to flood back up. We want a bigger pond, so that way we can store a lot of water. And this is all runoff. There's no stream coming in here. This is just runoff. There's a mountain range behind us, so all that comes right here to us.
Here, follow me. I don't want to go into the pond. Dun, dun, dun. No, but what if instead we have the 2 hammocks on this side, which is the closer to the deck, so you don't have to go swimming across the pond or around it to get to it if you're over there. But look, you can have 1 hammock here and 1 here.
So here it is. This is the fence line. You can actually kind of see the fence there. And again, this slopes up. We got another cow back there right on the border of the fence. And then it slopes up and it slopes up again. So right where they're walking is that spot that we think we're gonna put our house. Or our barn, I should say. So that's the thing, is we're not exactly sure yet what we're gonna put on this property. We played around with a lot of ideas. You guys know how we are. Every day is like something changed. So nothing is actually set in stone, but remember our barn idea that we're gonna do on our Rossville property? We're thinking we may actually do that here. Since the issue with the barn at our Rossville house was the foundation, we may pour a brand new one and then just rebuild that barn right back here on this property. So that was one of our ideas. We'll also probably pick up that tiny house we were working on and plop it down here. We also want to play around with some rammed earth, maybe some dirt, some earth bag stuff. Maybe we want to play around with some cob. Maybe we want to play around with, I don't know what we want to play around with, but whatever the hell it is, we've got the space for it. Damn it. That's what happens when you're on the phone. Too busy recording and I missed the deer sighting. Anyways, it's gonna be pretty epic. Whatever it is that we do create, it's gonna be awesome, and I'm really, really excited about it. So let's say this is our house. This is the corner of the property, the farthest corner. There's a fence here, there's a fence there. 280 acres of forest back there. That land that slopes down, that right there, oops, is the creek. And all that space back there was what I was telling you guys about. There's that pond. It's eventually gonna be a lot bigger. More water is gonna fill up because that bank that's broken right there, we're gonna fix it back up. And underneath that bank down here is where our garden's gonna be. And then from this side, this is what we see back here. So here's the fence line for the forest for our property. It goes all the way down.
That one, that auto-vented one. You have to put it
The water comes from up here, right? Okay, so this is house location possibility numero dos. Because here we get good sun. It's still overlooking the pond. But what I was talking about earlier is having to cross that where this water comes down to fill the pond. To get to the house over there would be kind of mushy. And the benefits, if we did something right here, then we could dig in this hill right here and maybe have another little garage or covering dug in the hill, and then they have the house sitting here and you're still overlooking the pond and a pasture. You're not as hidden. Over there was just like nobody could see you from your driveway. So, depends how.
Gotta play around with what we really want.
So those woods are ours right here, up to that back. Well, you can't even see the back fence line on that video.
No, well there's that fence line like way back there. And then all these woods here, although it looks like there's another fence here, but that doesn't mean the property behind that fence is also ours. So that's all the trees and the wooded area is also ours, so we can do what we'd like with it. And then over here is too, this whole big pasture area.
It's back there.
Okay.
So from from back to that fence line and then shoot all the way over, and then it goes 6 acres that way. So it covers his entire pasture. So it spans all the way on our neighbor's pasture and then goes back to our property line, and that's we have a ton of woods. Okay, so we dig out this wall of panini. So we'd like to put the wall of panini south facing as well, so maybe in one of these hills or somewhere over there, because it starts to slope down, and we could do a huge wall of panini over there. And the reason we would be doing that, we're trying to cheat nature and grow things like exotic fruit.
It's gonna be so great here.
Want to tell me about your watermelon idea?
Still can. There is the pond somewhere. I can't hear right now, but there are 2 hammock pots, and we're gonna put our 2 hammocks there. And if somebody said time for watermelon, and we're gonna be like, that one there is a Watton, and we're both gonna jump out of our hammocks and be like, watermelon, and then who last one that to the watermelon is the Watton egg, so then we get to eat it.
Okay. Got any other plans?
Yeah, Sumex's friend, the daredevil, is gonna have our hammock chair right in front of the house. So
Who's Sumac?
our friend with the greenest leaves I've ever seen.
Is it a tree? Okay. And who's the daredevil? Or what? Sumac's?
His friend is a daredevil,
Okay.
and he wants to hold the hammock. But he's also got some of his friends who might want to try it out if none of his branches work.
Nice. You talk to him about it?
Yeah.
All right, so this is where we just were, y'all. This is where there's a little fence right here, but that's where we were talking about. That's where the pond is. That's where the garden space is gonna be, and up there at the top of the hill where the garden, or where the houses are gonna be. Then past this fence, we've got all this here as well.
So we would be in the partial orchard area right now.
But here's another really high part of the property that I'm standing on right now. So although you can see the fence line, all those woods behind the fence line are ours too. It goes back like 100 feet. But I'm gonna flip around so you can see what you can see at the highest point on this part of the property. So that structure right there is not ours. That's our neighbor's. I don't think you'll be able to see it come summer when the trees are blooming. And then this is where we just were a minute ago when we were telling you guys about the top of the hill, where our houses are, the options that we're thinking of for our houses.
The chickens and the cats and Hershey will be on the other side of the fence, but the big animals like the cows, the pigs, and the Great Pyrenees, they'll be in here, which is the pasture.
Oh, come right here. There's a white post.
Cow poop doesn't feel as
There's a white post,
bad.
and it used to have a coffee can on it, a blue coffee can. Yeah.
Okay.
White post, blue coffee can, way back there, and that's the property line.
Okay,
And
so
then it runs.
all these woods and everything back here coming
all
up through
ours.
here is all ours too. There's the fence that you can go out into the woods. But this creek
Oh, don't forget, I
is just another creek on the property.
I think this is just a runoff.
Yeah, it's just a runoff. All right, so this is just another little creek. And then here we are. We can go back up this little hill.
It's actually thought for the wall of panini or something to dig out. No, I guess you want it further back because then the sun's going to drop in the winter. Come on, Hershey. Let's catch up.
We got a mess to clean up though.
Yeah, that's good wood. That's worth a lot of money right now.
Is that toilet paper?
I think it's some variety of it.
Daddy, I think you might have offended him.
Look. Ah! Okay, so I watched the off-grid thing like a long time ago, like years ago, about someone who was like growing their own toilet paper, and I thought, that's so cool. I'm gonna grow my own toilet paper one day. This leaf right here may just be toilet paper. It's super soft. It's got like some hairs on it. I feel like it could maybe be absorbent. I don't really know. I should probably bring some home and try it out, but how freaking cool is that? All right, so we're getting ready to head out. But this is getting towards the place that we entered again, which is right there. So freaking cool. This is gonna be like the most badass, epic fucking project that we've ever done. And I'm stoked about it. And you're liking the fact that there's a lot of wind here. That means there's potential.
Yeah, we were talking about doing beams that go across. And then with the erosion of the bank and everything right here, and the rocks, the fact that we're gonna have to pour footers for the beams, we decided it'd be easier and cheaper just to do a culvert and then fill this with rock. So in between these two trees will be our main access point to the property.
Between these two trees?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll cut this fence here.
Yeah, and then we'll make, this is our road, but we'll have to make a road that goes connecting to the, so that's our first order of business. And if we do put our house on that hump right there, I might put the shop right here just to block a little more vision. You know?
Yeah. How does it feel?
Good. I'm ready to get started. I've been ready for a long time. A lot of planning and just ready to take action.
It's obviously going to be a really big project, and it's going to take us probably years and years and maybe a decade or more, but it's going to be fucking worth it.